organization. It has achieved many awards within the genre of the North American seniors groups for what it does, and it has developed a wonderful base for research-based drama, in other words, of social issues which are relevant to our society today. They have been a wonderful addition to the Ryerson University's diversity, shall we say, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce one of their artists this evening, Janette Belanger, who will give a solo performance monologue called She.
Who's here? Oh, don't you look smashing? While you're getting settled in, I'll pour myself a cup of tea and then we can have a wee blather, right? I love my tea. I just love it in a cup and saucer. It's just so posh, isn't it? I was just looking at the paper. I don't usually read it, mind you. It's just too disturbing these days. All kinds of violence. Kids killing and robbing. For what? For nothing. Just look at them the wrong way. Bang, that's it. Well, most of them are just spoiled rotten and take everything for granted. Now, when I was a wee lassie, oh, never mind your moaning, I know what you're thinking. I stayed at my granny's place with my wee sister Aggie for 2 years, while Ma and Da left Scotland to go to Canada to seek their fortune. They'd heard someplace that Canada's streets were paved in gold, but they must have went to the wrong part of Canada, because there was no gold to be found. All they discovered was potholes along with broken dreams. Anyway, that made 12 of us crammed into my granny's place, a 3-bedroom tenement on the east side of Glasgow, just up the road from the Barras. You never heard of the Barras? Only the biggest and oldest flea market in all of Scotland, maybe the world. Actually, Ma and Da met at the Barrowland Ballroom. She said he swept her off her feet. That was the only time he ever swept anything. Well, he claimed to be a man's man, and sweeping and scrubbing flares was women's work. Women's work? Well, you know what she should have told him? Up your kilt with his wire brush. You know, the young ones today with their fancy computers and video games. Now, most have their very own bedroom. Some even have their very own loo. Well, we had 5 in a double bed. 3 at the top and 2 at the bottom. It wasn't too bad, but you could never tell who let one go. If you know what I mean. And you tried to fall asleep fast in case you got wakened up with a toe up your nose. Or anywhere else for that matter. Well, I complained long enough and they finally gave me a wee mattress on the floor over by the window. But you know, it was awfully cold in the morning. And it wasn't long, I was back in bed with the others. But I made a promise to myself. I said, Jinty, when you grow up and get married, you're going to get your own room. Little did I know my husband would think that was a brilliant idea. Now, we had a bath every other night, whether we needed it or not. Problem was the tub was filled with fresh water just once. And if you were stuck at the back of the line, you didn't come out of that bath smelling like roses. It was more like dirty dishwater. Oh, I'm telling you, you know, they say that cleanliness is next to godliness. Well, the devil must have been breathing down my neck, because I was always shoved to the back of the line. Malcolm Forbes says, no, it wasn't, it was Henry Bergson said, The only cure for vanity is laughter, and the only fault that is laughable is vanity. The place was bloody hilarious. Now, we didn't own a telly, let alone have one in every room. We didn't even own a motor car. For entertainment, we sit around listening to the radio. There'd be Granny Conley in a big overstuffed chair looking out the window. And there'd be wee Granny Donnelly sitting in a rocker, sucking on her clay pipe by the fire. Now there's one that could talk, hard to get her to shut it. She could talk the skin off a wooden leg if you let her. You know, some nights we'd play dominoes, but when they wanted some real entertainment, they'd ask me to give them a wee song. So I'd take my place crouched behind that big overstuffed chair and sing to my wee heart's content. You remember this one? Oh, you can't shove your granny off the bus. Oh, you can't shove your granny off the bus. That's all. I should like to hear some more. I'd like to hear some more, would you? You can't shove your granny off the bus. But you know, back then I used to end in a standing ovation. Well, that is except for wee Granny Donnelly. The only time I ever seen her off her rocker was when she was laid out in her coffin in the big bedroom. Mind you, I wasn't supposed to see her in there. They kept the doors shut. They said, "Jinty, don't you dare go in that room." Well, you know what happened, don't you? Yes. Oh, she looked really odd laying out there. Just didn't seem quite right without her pipe. Oh, the sweet innocence of youth. Malcolm Forbes says, when what we are is what we want to be, that's happiness. And I was quite happy just being me. You know, one time we went to Blackpool for a wee holiday. There was me, my wee sister and my gran. We rented a room in a boarding house just up the road from the beach. Look, it was brilliant. You know, our room was on the main floor. And as soon as it got dark, there they were, chapping at the window, wanting it. The rest of the bloody clan. You know, it was hard not to roar with laughter as we climbed in and out the window in single file all weekend. We spent all our time down at the beach. We rode the pony on the beach. We had a picnic with our jam sandwiches. We spent time up at the arcade, eating candy floss, and getting pictures done at the booth. It was brilliant, you know. I can still hear the music playing out through the streets. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. Oh, don't worry, I won't be saying They say Disney World is a magic kingdom. But whoever said that had obviously never been to Blackpool. That's magic. Now, once a week, Granny would pick one of us to make a run up the road to place a bet with wee Sammy the bookie. If you spotted the police, Sammy would run one way and you'd run the other. If you didn't get caught, you got rewarded with a few pence. Just enough to get a few sticks of gum or a candy rock. But you know, the best part was the chasing. I think I could have been a triathlete. Muhammad Ali says, champions aren't made in the gym. Champions are made from something deep inside. A desire, a dream, a vision. Maybe a candy rock, because I felt like a champion. You know, you get back to this violence, you know, they say violence begets violence. I don't know about that, because I've seen my share of violence in my day. I mean, growing up at the east side of Glasgow, we're hard not to witness some kind of violence. And you know, I wouldn't hurt a fly, honestly. Okay, so I'd swat a fly, and maybe those wee midges, but nothing much bigger than that. I think it all boils down to the choices we make. That's what it is, you know. I think it must be a lot harder to go through life miserable and angry than walk around with a smile on your face and a wee bit of love in your heart. Well, anyway, that's enough out of me. I must have talked your ear off. Starting to sound like wee Granny Donnelly. Time for me to get up the road for my messages before the shops close. And maybe stop in for a pint.